everyone, welcome to more Let's Play Citizen Sleeper 2. Last time we found out what happens if you get too stressed. It turns out one of your dice is permanently glitches. And I think if all of them glitch out, I think that's when you die. No pun intended. So I can't remember exactly what we were doing next. I don't think it was this, but I don't think I can get to export yet either. Yeah, there's a lot of hazards I can't get past because I need the right tools for them. Oh yeah, I need the HasNav for that. I do like that the red line stops you, like, as well visually from where you gotta go. But I don't think I can do that. I believe it was this? Yes. We're going to the Flotsam. Should I get supplies before I go? I think we don't need them. You're where I get them, aren't you? Yeah. There we go. I'm good with that. I mean, we don't need supplies if we're going to a different location, but... yeah. It's hard to tell where Flotsam ends and the ships parked at its many docking bridges begin. As Seraphim docks with the station, you realise that the rig now looks like just another piece of accumulated technology. One more bit of driftwood added to the raft. I love this place, Seraphim smiles as he shuts down the engines. You never know what you'll find. You been here before? Yeah, back when I first came to the belt. The crew I signed on with used to run salvage jobs out of here. Fun place to spend your wages. You see Bliss eyeing the station with what looks like both horror and fascination. You see the seals? They point at some twisted assemblage of ship parts. Total cowboy welds. They could pop any moment. Seraphim waves away their concerns. Oh, that's just the outer layer. I heard there's 6 or 7 in all, so if one falls, it's no problem. He stretches and turns to you. You've got to taste some of the stuff they grow in Old Takai. He kisses his fingers. That's the good shit. Did he just do a chef's kiss? Oh great, Bliss eyes. So many layers of redundancy and fallbacks that you have no hope of isolating a leak and fixing it. They're up on the wall of the rig. Sounds like a ship I know. I will defend the rig. Seraphim joins in, the two of you shoulder to shoulder. She got you out there, didn't she? He shrugs at Bliss. No sense of gratitude. I was joking. Bliss looks a little hurt. Actress out of the cockpit shaking their head. I like to imagine that was a comedic moment where me and Seraphim were just like, how dare you? You go to follow, but Seraphim puts a hand on your shoulder. Sleeper. He looks suddenly serious. Remember what I said about getting checked out? There are artificers all over this place. It'll take a bit of searching, but we need to know what's going on with you. He meets your eye. Afraid I'll go haywire? Come on, Sleeper, don't be like that. I'm worried there's something wrong with you. Seraphim looks away. I guess it's up to you. I'm gonna go see if any of my old haunts are still open. He drifts out of the cockpit with the mox loop. Catch you later. You'll have to learn the cockpit with a view of Flotsam's chaotic structure. You look over the multicolored plating. It does, you admit, have a certain charm. I kind of like how asymmetrical it looks. You know, it reminds me a little bit of the base I built in Subnautica when I played that. Like, never, didn't Let's Play, never will, because, goddamn, I like that game, but it was way too stress-inducing. Explore Flotsam, a ramshackle assemblage of decommissioned ships and wrecks. To call Flotsam Labyrinthine, I think it's Labyrinthine, is a serious understatement. Analyze structure. Flotsam is made from maybe hundreds of ships gathered and modified over time. A good engineer might be able to identify them, Flotsam Explorer. Learning the chaotic structures of Flotsam from corridor to ship and back again takes Timmy. I think this is the... Hang on, I can just find out which one I'm proficient in. Okay, so it's not that one. But I should be fine. Vingus, in the words of Michael Jordan. Hey, positive outcome on that, nice. With a 25% chance, that's not bad going. Okay, I've gotten 3 positives in a row. This is guaranteed neutral, but the question is, do I go for a maybe neutral? Do I go for a 50% neutral or 20% positive? I mean... I know, this is the place I want to be. Yeah. I mean, I got a negative, but you know, we'll be fine. Flotsam, ramshackle flotilla turned to settlement. The chaos of Flotsam intrigues you. Passage to passage, it is the most incoherent place you have ever visited. I don't know, have you ever visited Boris Johnson's mind? Like a Swiss cheese factory. Don't ask me how I know. Plating, cladding. Ooh, that's a new word. Cladding. No. Is it like the... Oh, I don't know what it is if word ends in ing. But like a thing with clad. I mean, cladding is, from what I'm seeing, a word. Cladding is an outer layer of material covering another. Thank you, Wikipedia. Anyway, plating, cladding, and cushioning of all kinds of conditions hides a forest of wires and ducts, interfacing in ways that manufacturers would never dream possible. Rooms are crushed cargo bays, flipped bridges, and eviscerated engine rooms. Patchwork corridors are lumpen with messy welds bending worryingly along their length. I also have a bending length, I don't like to talk about it. It is, to put it nicely, a total mess. It's not that you don't like it, but finding an artificer among this chaos has been more than a little challenging. This cycle, searching these winding passages once more, seeing only scrap merchants and junk shops, you have begun to wonder if Seraphin had any idea what he was talking about when he advised you to come here. A sleeper? The voice cuts through the pungent air. Well, I never. John me? I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. Strange artificer. You've got a bit of a Albert Einstein vibe. I'll just walk over, no need to be rude. John me tilts his head. I didn't mean to be rude, please, and he bows a little. Huh? Oh, that's okay. He smiles warmly, almost bowing again, his hunched shoulders accentuating the movement. How? He pauses, taking care of the speech now. How are you feeling, Sleeper? He beckons you a little closer. I am Jean-Michel, though please, to you, John me. I work with machines. He sweeps a hand above his counter where you see configurations of tiny parts. Mostly small ones, he smiles. I'm not great. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, he chops with his hand to indicate a stool with a leg bar meant for perching beside his counter, and such is the clarity and persuasiveness of his movement that you obligingly sit. Your presence is a rare horror here. He smiles and looks down into his lap. I am sorry if I make you uncomfortable. I am just very pleased to see you. Can I help you with something? I was more imagining I could help you. I can see your journey to me has not been easy, he says with genuine concern. You track his eyes across your body, noticing the scuff marks on your thick, vinyl-like skin, the replaced and broken parts of your body, the marks of violence. You pull your jacket a little tighter. John Me folds his hands one over the other and places them on the counter. I do not know what your experiences have been, but I want to assure you that I see you as a person, a being. A soul, shall we say, as valid as any other. That was, again, one of the main points of the first game. If just because we are like this robot now with someone else's consciousness, if we can or cannot feel like a person should. You look at John Mee, his own age and wear also evident, a life of precise and careful work shaping his body into a reflection of his process. You note his unconfident way of speaking, which betrays a certain loneliness, a lack of practice. It is his turn to feel... pardon me. It is his turn to feel observed. How do you expect me to respond? He looks away. I am sorry. I do not think I am expressing myself well. He looks down at his counter and begins to take apart a tiny piece of machinery that sits there. Many years ago, when I began my apprenticeship, I would find that whenever I saw something that, how to say, was not working well, I was fixated on it and its repair. He tinkers with the parts, twisting them precisely. Of course, the belt is filled with this kind of dysfunctional detail. And so I was busy for many years with these small fixings. He smiles in reminiscence. But now I find that when I am interested in a thing that is not working as it should, he sharply twists one of the parts between his fingers, it is because it might have some quality not yet foreseen or discovered. He releases the altered object into the air where it balletically twists in a hypnotic display, like a spinning top whose movements are totally unpredictable. John Mee smiles at you, watching his hypnotic toy. I can see that you are in a process of becoming Sleeper. Sorry, I'll clean that up. He catches the spinning toy between a finger and thumb. Let me aid you in this. What do you mean? John Mee's precise hands drop to a device around his neck. He deftly pulls a pair of goggles up to his face, masking his wet eyes. Hold still, Sleeper. Something flickers inside the goggles, their face blank. John Mee's hands play across buttons and switches on the exterior, tuning, focusing. I'm not going to interrupt him, I'm just going to let him work. When the goggles are finally lowered, they reveal a look of concern on John Mee's face. I think you better come inside. He kicks off from his desk and disappears. A moment later, you hear a rattle and a small bulkhead door beside the booth that you would assume was rusted shut creaks open. John Mee beckons you inside. John Mee's workshop. Hi, Grim. John Mee's workshop is even more cramped than you expected. As you enter, you are surrounded on all sides with netting holding bundles and bundles of terminals, servers, drives, and cables. At its center, a padded seat and a set of articulated arms mounted with sensors and tools fill the space. The seat, please. John Mee gestures at it with a polite smile. What are you going to do? Not to worry, I only wish to examine you. It is non-intrusive. The game is about, you play as like a sleeper, which is sort of like a cyborg robot thing, which has, the purpose of it is like someone's consciousness gets downloaded and put into the robot so that they can continue working like in outer space. But the game also has that existential theme of like, just because you are a robot and technically are not human anymore, should you be allowed to feel like a human does? Should you be allowed to love and hate and like be sad and happy and have emotions, you know? And this is a sequel. I've let's played the first one already, and that was really good. And right now, in terms of story, there's something wrong with my character. So we're seeing this guy to help us find out what condition our condition is in, so to speak. You tentatively settle on the seat, slipping your arms and feet into the straps meant to keep you from floating out of it in zero-G. Also, it's a text-based RPG, so there's no voice acting. Although the art looks really good, and the writing's pretty solid too. John Mee floats beside you. He looks across your body. There is damage here, I see that. We will get to that. But I see something else here as well. This is why you came, he looks at you solemnly. What are you talking about? Please, Sleeper, let us be frank with each other. Are you technically a Frank because I think you're French? That'd be Frank with a C, not K. See, it's wordplay, I understood the joke. That's all that matters. Though I have never met a Sleeper, I have studied them. I was lucky to acquire some materials from SNR some time ago, in the interest of my own endeavours. He begins arranging a series of sensors around you on articulated arms. You are pleasingly distinct from those materials, his eyes flash with excitement. That's a decent compliment, you are pleasingly distinct. I like that. His eyes flash with excitement. Am I right in thinking you've been modified? I did reboot myself, yeah. Yes, I see that your dependency on stabilizer, on the immune recoding portion of its makeup at least, has been broken. He gives you a precise look. But that is not all. Oh boy, it gets worse. You are physically modified, not externally but internally. He carefully positions the final sensor. Your tracker is disabled, which makes it impossible for SNOP to find you. Congratulations, he smiles broadly. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. But this is not all. You have been modified, yes, but you are also being modified as we speak. Elaborate, please. You feel a strange claustrophobia at Jean-Mi's statement. Modified? Seraphim rebooted your system around the recording protocol, but that shouldn't have physically changed you. It only removed your planned obsolescence. Yeah, how? Jean-Mi goes to a terminal and flicks the switch. Through the back of the translucent screen, you see a nodal web. Nodal, that's another new word. Nodals. I'm hungry for nodals. In the vague shape of a sitting body. Your body. These changes appear to be complex, subtle, but consistent. Jean-Mi goes silent as he taps at the terminal, the representation of your body rotating and unfolding in unsettling motions. What changes? See here, he points out a flickering representation of your spine tracing a line towards your head. Your nervous system is growing additional nodal points here and here. Meanwhile, your emulation interface is growing an umbilical access port, though, am I pregnant? Though, towards what end I am unsure. You instinctively reach back and touch the base of your head. As you do, the scan flickers and screeches with noise. You feel for something there, growing under your thick final skin. Just cause I'm fat, game, come on. Can you feel a lump, or is that just your imagination? You pick at it. Jean-Mi sighs and shuts off the terminal. The changes are partial and, in all honesty, he gestures sharply at the sensors. The resolution is too poor. Upgrade to 4K, dude, we live in space. I need to run a full diagnostic, but for that I would need... He drifts over to another terminal and brings up screens and screens of text and diagrams. Yes, some kind of medium to hold your suspended emulation. The access jack I can build myself, but we will need to bridge your emulation. Jean-Mi speaks quietly, almost to himself. Shipment would be ideal for this. Oh, it's ShipMind. I accidentally misread it as shipment. But yeah, we're bringing these back. Okay, I was wondering if they would be back from the first game. Would have to be high capacity, a prime ShipMind, Solheim in origin. Oh, not those assholes. Perhaps Helion Gate might hold records of any that were in the system. He taps at the terminal. Jean-Mi turns back to you. Yes, the prime ShipMind is essential if you wish further investigations to be done. I will need this above all. He thumbs the terminal off. I am sorry to say, Sleeper. Can't you tell me what? Yeah, I'm doing this one until, like, it's finished. Also, hi, Sylvie, baby. Can't you tell me more? Accurately? No. He meshes his fingers in front of his chest. It is clear that a process has begun but has yet to complete. Jean-Mi buzzes himself with taking down the sensors and folding away the articulated arms. As he does, you try to calm yourself. You feel as if you have worms under your skin, and it takes all your focus not to pick at its seams. Jean-Mi suddenly but gently places a hand on yours. Please, remain calm. He puts a carefully restored rare component in your hand. This can help you. Jean-Mi waits for you to fall still. Then he leans back a little, relieving some of the strange intimacy of the moment. For now, our work is concluded. He measures his fingers again and bears with a small head bob. My name's not Bob, but you are welcome anytime. Thank you for offering to help. Although, what do you get out of this? I'm concerned. Yes, I understand this. His manner seems to have returned to something more businesslike, a humble man who knows his customers' needs. You get up from the seat a little dazed and push away into the passage. Safe travel, Sleeper, Jean-Mi says quietly, placing the promised list in your hand as he lets you back into the station. You leave dazed, unsure of how you feel about this instant, the insistence of this man's particular kindness. But most of all, haunted by the idea of the unseen processes that are running within you. Part of you does not wish to know anything further, to leave this place and never look back. And another is desperate to immediately retrieve every object on this list so that you may know what strangeness is happening within you. For now, you must steady yourself and find a way to continue. Hey Seraphim. Seraphim comes to find you in your bunk. After Jean-Mi's assessment, you find yourself drifting back to the rig in need of the familiarity and comfort of your own ship. Sleeper? He drifts in. You found an officer? He hovers by the door, looking concerned. I mean, I've had no reason to lie to him yet, so yeah. You tell him about Jean-Mi, how he offered you repairs and ran an assessment of your frame. You describe the cramped booth, the articulated arms, the strangeness of seeing your own body anatomized on the terminal screen. Oh god, atomized now. Oh, that'd be horrible. Then you tell him that your body is changing, growing, in ways Jean-Mi cannot identify. Pardon me. That some process has been started and you do not know where it will end. You mention umbilical ports and nodal points, trying your best to remember the details of the things Jean-Mi asked you to retrieve. Seraphine grows pale in silence. He shakes his head when you stop talking. Lane, he frowns. That piece of shit has to be behind this. Jean-Mi didn't say. He wouldn't know, but I know the piece of shit and I know he would do something like this. I mean, Ethan did it to the Sleeper in the first game to keep that on him, so it would make sense. We'll get what you need. We'll find that ship mind. He nods. A bit of work here and there, and we can make it to the Alien Gate and whatever else. What about your stuff? We'll do that too, he thinks. Well, we're free, Sleeper. No one can stop us. Just say the word, okay? He goes quiet. Don't give up on yourself just yet, he smiles. Get up and get back to it. And with that, he turns and kicks off down the corridor, disappearing from sight. You wait a little while, staring at the stained ceiling of the bunks, letting the thoughts settle in your mind. And then, when you're ready, you get up and leave, dazed but with a stony determination growing in your chest. Or maybe it was just gas. Okay, I had to find the ship at the Hellion Gates. Wait, this isn't the Hellion Gate. Oh! I could just go there. I'm not going to, mostly because I do not have the fuel. What about, can I just travel... Why is it so hard to click it? There we go. Oh damn, I don't have enough fuel to travel there, so I'm gonna have to get some. I can just refill it instantly. Yeah, I may as well stay and get some food if I can. Take recovery contract. The Narrow Escapes barman Botan has a tip about a recovery contract. For a few chits, he'll give you the coordinates. My rig's blown its propulsion and I'm stranded on some godforsaken rock. Repair crew needed, will split haul, no time wasters or thieves, I'm armed. You know what? Maybe. I'll go find a job so I can get more cryo first, because I want to get food. I think that's the important thing. Buy a meal. The Narrow Escape specializes in leaf-wrapped parcels of rice and mushrooms. All the ingredients are ground and flotsam. I'll admit, that does sound tasty. So where do I go to work? Here? Yeah, I may as well just go around reading stuff. Favorite part of anyone playing a video game. Give Prime ship mind. Jean-Mi has promised to run diagnostics on your changing body, but needs a ship mind to house your emulation while he works. I can't remember how to make those, because you could do it in the first game. But hey, I'll look it up. Flotsam maintenance. Flotsam needs constant work to keep it sealed and safe. The integrators are volunteers and can always use some help. Flotsam integration. Integration means meshing through meshing systems as well as scrap. The integrators will pay for anyone skilled with meshing networks. And buy engine components. The integrators usually have some engine components to spare, but they know how valuable they are and price them highly. And Altakai. Oh, I came across this place earlier. Work the hydroponics. That sounds like a really weird dance. Altakai is the oldest ship in Flotsam and now serves as a huge hydroponic farm, keeping the station alive. Shifts are always available. Buy supplies. The hydroponics farms in Altakai pack and sell supplies to passing crews. The funds keeping Flotsam running. And fill supplies. If you have no cryo. Yeah, okay. I think that's everything done. But I can't do any work yet, so I'm gonna rest. Drink my water. Okay. Please give me something good. Oh wow, I didn't even notice that you can see like the dice cracking. Holy shit, that's a good detail. I'm probably better off doing this one. Yeah. That's just way better for me. You know, I'm good with that. I think it was here, wasn't it? Yeah. So I say we, right there. Oh, only 2 fuel. Okay. I say we rest now, so I've got, like, my dice prepared for when I get there. Bit cautious, but, you know. And, we get food, definitely. We're fine on supplies, I believe. So, yeah, to the stranded rig. And I can take Eugen and Bliss. Lovely. Asteroid, another rock in the belt. Keep your hands where I can see him. The voice crackles over the open channel of your suit comms as you near the stranded rig. You slow your approach a little as you move towards the ship, its shape lumpy and skeletal in the distant light of the sun. A warm welcome, but as well for the rest of us, the rest of the job, Bliss shoots you a concerned look. You look up at the stranded ship ahead. Clearly they are feeling a bit exposed. We're here to help. Well, I figured that, the voice retorts, otherwise I would have put a hole in that shiny rig of yours already. You arrive at the side of the rig, inspecting the damage as you do. Half the hull plating and big chunks of the internal structure seem to be missing, but you have a feeling that this is not what you're here to fix. The airlock opens, and you move inside, the interior all exposed wires and metal framework. The systems wheeze and shudder as it cycles. Oh, Alma! Oh, hello! Haggard Salvager, you look weird. I actually quite like this guy's design. Nothing of value here, so if you're looking to steal something, you're welcome to it. You are? Oh no. Alma greets you plainly inside the rig. You do the work that's needed and I'll let you take your half of the haul. Understood? Well, alright then. Oh, it's a she. Sorry. God, time has not treated you well, has it? Well, alright then. Her face is as placid and unchanging as a rock. Here's the short of it. Engines conked out on me and I'm no engineer. Can usually get her going, but this time no dice. I'm not an engineer either, I'm an operator. She looks between you and the rest of the crew. Surprised there's so many of you, to be honest. There's only like 4 of us, because there's me, Bliss, Seraphine, and Eugen. Although there is people I haven't brought out with me in a while. Bliss smiles sympathetically. Sorry about that, but don't worry. I've worked on these engines before. They give Alma a wink. I can handle this. Don't be so sure. Alma leads you towards the engine room, the layout of her rig much the same as yours. This girl is the sensitive type. You need to know how to handle her. We'll treat her well, don't worry. The central corridor of the ship snakes in a way that isn't familiar to you, and you realize this rig is far more heavily modified than your own, something that becomes all the more obvious when you arrive in the engine room. Rather than the rig's stock engine, a singular block and double turbine with feed lines between, Alma's engine is a mess of piping and feed lines, linking up multiple raw components welded to the interior frame of the room. Your eyes widen at the sight. Been adding to her since I was young? Alma smiles at the chaos. Might look like a mess, but she purrs when she's running. Bliss is shaking their head slowly. Oh, sleeper, they let out a puff of air. This is going to be special. You struggle to tell if they're intimidated or impressed, or perhaps it's a little bit of both. That's about all of it. Alma gestures to the exploded engine. Get her running and you'll get your half of the haul. Well, I'm not going to ask for the money, so I'm just going to... we'll do what we can. Hope you aren't time wasters. Alma's going to at you. You certainly are a strange crew. Alma glides over to a window set in the side of the engine room and points at the corroded remains of a facility deep in the asteroid's loose, dusty surface. There's the hole. She taps on the glass. As good a find as I've seen. The hole is a building? Building and all that's in it? Alma screws up her face. What, you too good for scrapping? But right. By rights, that building's mine. Scrap's claim. Alma scratches out a mess of hair. But you helped me get running, and you are welcome to take what you want from it. Up to a maximum of 50% of raw mass, that is. That's not what we expected. He looks you up and down, and you feel the first acknowledgement. Of you being sleeper. Oh, English. Fucking hell. Work with me. I doubt it'll trouble one of you. Anyway, you're leaving with nothing, unless my girl here is back in shape by the time you're done. She folds her arms across her chest. So get to it. You turn back to the engine, your eyes tracing the madness of the interlocking systems. You are starting to have the horrible feeling that this contract is some kind of elaborate joke. Oh, there it is again, that funny feeling. Okay. Engine labor. With a system this complex, you can either understand it or approach it systematically, checking it piece by maddening piece. Engine study. Alma's engine fills the room with like some esoteric sculpture. To try to fix it, it must be studied and understood. Alma's goal. The old engine has seen a lot of use and modification. Fixing it means learning how it works. Well, you're my best bet here. Hang on, do you get a boost from this? Okay. So you don't, but you're not going to get in trouble for it. Boom. No. Come on, really? Okay, I don't want to risk putting Bliss under stress because their dice aren't great. They're both just ones. Yeah. I don't want to risk putting the stress on myself either by using my glitched one, because it's the only one I have. Fuck it. Okay, no, not worth the risk. That was dumb. I shouldn't have done that. We'll be fine, we'll be fine, we'll be fine. We'll be good, we'll be fine, we'll be fine, we'll be good. Now, Eugene is not the... He's got the worst of the dice end. Luckily, I'm pretty good. I should be able to get this on my own, I think. If I get another positive outcome... Boom! You all gather in Alma's rig to see the engine tested. The engine room purrs and chitters. It seems to warm with the sound of the engine, with the polyrhythmic... Oh, I like that word a lot. Polyrhythmic, it's so good. Vibrations that rattle through the open framework of the interior. I recently came out as polyrhythmic, before that I was heterorhythmic. That was so dumb. You look over to Alma and see her eyes are closed, a small tremble at the corner of her mouth. You look at the engine, Alma's engine, an object that you've come to respect over the past cycles, all two of them, even if you haven't necessarily grown to love it. It is, as you see it now, a difficult thing to love. Me looking in the mirror. That was mean, actually. Holy shit, I shouldn't have said that. All parts of it make little sense, and its oldest systems, those now bypassed and made obsolete by newer additions, still somehow play an integral role you don't understand. It is unwieldy and unnecessarily so, and the accumulation of parts and patches from its long service make it surprisingly fragile. Meanwhile, other sections have been welded and re-welded so many times that they are impregnable. Get me some men and some good climbing spikes and I'll impregnate the bitch. Get it to Sir Braun, baby. And we'll never be able to replace... I'm glad you like that joke, Sylvie. It was so dumb, but I'm, like, kind of clever. I'm proud of it. It is uncooperative and prone to sudden outbursts of cooling fluid or even fuel. It is restless and will begin to leak when left idle for too long. It is always too cold or too hot, thanks to the coolant and the fuel. You know, the two ends of the spectrum, obviously, and it's hard to predict which it will be at any given moment. And yet, despite all this, it is an object you feel close to, that you feel a kinship with, because, in the end, you two are an accumulation of broken parts, long outliving their operational limits. Thanks, game! That's got to be one of the most backhanded compliments that a game has ever written at me. I want that written on my tombstone. I was an accumulation of broken parts, long outliving my operational limits. Fucking hell. You two are a machine that has become a story, and a story that has grown beyond the ability of others to understand it. Okay, that's actually quite cool. You look over to Alma again, and Bliss is there beside her. You can see that they're talking, but with the engine running you can't hear them. You wait for a moment, Bliss now patiently listening as, in faltering words, Alma explains something to them. Bliss nods and then suddenly they embrace, gently with care. Aww? Bliss pushes back and, as soon as the moment has passed, it seems like it might not have happened at all. Nothing in the two figures' attitudes betrays the act, and the room seems unchanged. You try to remember if you have seen them speaking before now, but you recall there are many moments when you were not with Bliss. As you watch Alma approach, you realise the engine is not just special to you, and that between her and Bliss, it might have been the bridge to a unique kind of respect. That's the job, Sleeper. Alma approaches you from the other side of the room, and you know where the payment is to be found. I believe that brings that business to an end. Alma scratches out her hair. Unless you have something to add. Excuse me. Yeah. Turns out you can't breathe tea. You can try, it's not going to get you very far. What will you do now? I believe that's my business, she bristles at the question. I'll need to find somewhere quiet to resupply and so on. But I don't think you'd like my usual haunts. She gives you a slight look. Oh no, don't die on me. I'm fine, I'm fine. You know, as my parents usually say, and as I say back to them, if you're gonna die, do it quietly. I'm good, I'm good. Yeah, be careful when you swallow a cup of tea, though, or a cup of coffee. Turns out taking it directly to the lungs is not a good feeling. I appreciate the assistance. You are welcome to take what you want from the hangar if you haven't already. You see a knowing shimmer in her eyes. Now I must kindly ask you to leave my ship. As the airlock cycles, you look across at Bliss and swear you see a tear in their eye. Are you okay? Bliss turns to you as if they forgot you were there. I'm good, Sleeper. Really good, they sniff. This place reminded me of why I do what I do. Why I fix things. They look ahead. There's beauty in it. You know, one thing I'm liking about doing these contracts is that we're getting more character moments with our crew members. I feel like that was something the first game was missing in terms of like how tight the writing was, because it was really good, right? But it did have that thing of like you just go and like see character and like do thing for character and then move on to different places, right? Because of it having multiple endings, I think that sort of kneecapped it a bit. Because the only people I cared about leaving the eye with were Lem and Mina, and I focused on their story because, you know, I like doing their story, and also they had an adorable dynamic, being like an adopted father, adopted daughter, and Mina was a cute-ass kid. She was so adorable. But, like, getting to do this, and getting to actually know your crewmates, and why they do what they do, just by doing jobs, like, that's good writing. It gives me a reason to care more about them, especially because of it being Bliss just then, because, like, you don't meet them until very late in the first game. So the fact that they're with you quite early and are an important crew member is really good. Like, holy shit. You find yourself drifting away from the Alma's rig in a haze of thoughts. It's clear to you at this point that Alma's history is written all over this place, but more than that, well, you can't be sure. The story, it seems, isn't for you. You realise, as you gaze at the broken remains of the facility, that Alma never took any of her half of the haul. You turn back and squint at the cockpit of her rig. Pardon me, you see her there looking out across the wasteland. Still as a statue. It's an image that, as you load into the rig and begin the preparations to depart, will stick with you. One that every time you enter the engine room of your ship, a room almost identical to the engine room of Alma's rig, will leap into your mind. A woman floating above the wreck of what was once her home, looking for a reason to keep going. Fucking hell, okay. Alright, I wasn't expecting that to hit me where it hit me. Gather scrap beyond the corroded outer walls. This place is just scrap. This is scrap as work, and it takes resilience more than skill. Raw material, this entire facility is scrap. It just needs cutting and stacking, which means cycles of hard work. Component search. If the corroded ragged remains of this facility, there still might be valuables tucked away. The trick is to find them. Oh, that's fucking helpful, game. Thank you. Hidden treasures. You suspect that deep in this facility there might be some components you can use, but it'll be a long search. Oh I want to at least maybe get one of these done before leaving. Good on you, Eugene. Can you give me a double? You can't. You're a disappointment, mate. You're not really. Hey, Bish, how we doing? Hey, Connor. We's doing good. Thank you for asking. Sorry, Bliss. Oh, sorry again, Bliss. So I'm worried about my stress level ramping up fully and then that costing me another die. I don't like the idea of that. Although, goddamn, we've all got some good dice on this one. Hell yeah. Oh, come on, Eugene, really? That's more like it, thank you. This won't guarantee it, but it'll help. Yeah, I had a feeling. Okay, good. Good. Ah, man. I kind of have to rely on you, Jin, for this. I'm gonna have to hope for the best on this one. Okay, good. Ooh! Right, wasn't expecting this. There is a hiss and a rush of stale air as the sealed bay deep in the facility's tunnels opens for the first time in years. The beams of your suit lamps reach into the dark, picking up waves of dust and debris. They reveal a small bay big enough. I have a small bay. Her name's Sylvie. Haha, big enough for a shuttle, but not a rig like yours. As you glide inside, those same beams catch on the frame of something that sits at the center of the bay. It is wide and flat with a cylindrical central station that runs its length. As you move around it, looking at the sections of plates and open frame, you realize it is a ship, or at least it was. This frame, filled with rusted components and partially covered with old hull plates, suggests a fast ship, an arrowhead designed to cut through debris and even atmosphere. You float up a little to see into its central cylinder, and your lamps reveal a cockpit outfitted for 2 people, one sat behind the other. The seats are carefully upholstered, and you realize this was a labor of love. The whole ship, in fact, seems built by hand, a custom model with little function out here beyond looping around asteroids for the thrill of it. Looking closer, brushing away the surface corrosion, you see flames painted at the hull plates in curling patterns, brushstrokes visible even after what must be many years. As you inspect the half-finished ship, a sense of quiet wonder keeping you silent, you notice a glint towards its rear. That ass. You approach it and see an engine, all interlocking tubes and flared vents. It is unlike any you have ever seen, but the holes in its sides suggest it may have never been finished. Those holes are the source of the glint. You reach in and pull out some strange-looking engine components, each pristine and complex. You hesitate for a moment, suddenly feeling like you shouldn't be disturbing such an intimate object. But it occurs to you that nothing would please the person who built the ship more than seeing these handmade components put to use. I did miss you. I always miss you, man. You secure them to your suit and push away from your ship. As you leave the bay, you turn and take one last look at the treasure inside. It's possible that it never flew, or perhaps it was in the middle of an extensive refit when this place was abandoned. Either way, its flying years have long since passed, and now with the bay open, it will corrode much faster, melting with the anonymized scrap of this place in mere cycles. You suppress a shiver and then start the journey back up to the surface, aware of the components dangling at your side. I guess we try and finish this then before we leave. We should be good to do that.